Action News, Delaware Valley's leading news program, with Dave Frankel, Rick Williams, and Monica Malpass.
Good morning. It is 5 o'clock on this Tuesday, December 19th.
And we are on earlier today because of the winter storm that is bearing down on the Delaware Valley.
The salt trucks have been making their rounds all night on area highways.
We'll have a series of live reports to get you ready for the morning rush hour this morning.
Well, the Delaware Valley is braced for the worst this morning. The huge weather storm headed east is creating sleet in some parts right now. And that's not to say that driving conditions are ideal. The weather may have caused this two-car crash here on the Walt Whitman Bridge early this morning, where the speed was reduced to 25 miles an hour. One driver suffered minor head injuries. The Delaware River Port Authority had snow removal equipment standing by. And in West Philadelphia, the city streets department has been busy loading trucks with salt. A snow emergency is due to take effect in 1 hour in the city at 6 o'clock. PennDOT has 66,000 tons of salt ready to treat roads. And trucks have been out covering the Ben Franklin Parkway and other streets, but so far it's safe to drive if you take it easy.
Well, a lot of folks are going to be looking out their window wondering what we're talking about so far. Let's go outside to Dave Franklin AccuWeather for an update. David.
Well, Monica, when I woke up this morning and looked outside, then stepped outside and drove into work, I was prepared to start to tell people it looks like we may have dodged the bullet for this morning's rush hour, and that this afternoon and tomorrow morning may be the tricky ones. And then we walked outside here, and it's about an hour and a half later, and it is very icy already. So it does not look like we're going to dodge the bullet this morning's rush hour. It does look as though it will be treacherous in the form of ice and freezing rain rather than snowfall, at least in the city of Philadelphia. Got a lot to go through this morning. Let's break it all down for you. We'll go through it one step at a time. Right now, we have rain in many areas, but it's freezing when it hits the ground. That's causing ice in lots of spots, some of it falling as sleet. Snow to the north and west. They're reporting snow in parts of Bucks and Montgomery County now. We are right at the freezing mark officially, 32 degrees. As we go through the morning, here's what's going to happen. Ice will be the dominating feature over the next few hours, again, in the form of sleet or rain that freezes when it hits the ground, some snow mixing in, rain tapering off and changing, especially north and west, and from the city north and west. Down the shore, rain hangs on longer, 32 degrees, temperature not moving very far. Now, by this afternoon, snow is going to take over. That will be the predominant feature, with some ice still in the mix and less rain. Again, now you got to get right up to the shore to see any rain. By tonight, AccuWeather says it looks like it's just going to be snow, a little leftover ice possible, 30 degrees. And don't underestimate what we're looking at here, folks. As far as accumulations on this, before all is said and done, we are looking at some significant stuff. What's the next step here? Well, we're going to show you that tomorrow morning we're going to have some leftover early snow. Then windy and cold conditions will move into the Delaware Valley. Blowing snow, they'll be drifting tomorrow with a high temperature of only 30 degrees. So we are in for about 36 hours or so of really, really nasty weather. The next step, where are we going now? We're going to the accumulations. We're going to action radar. Going to action radar now, and you can see this is a huge system with lots of water. We've got some light to moderate stuff over us in the Delaware Valley, but look off to the west through Ohio into Indiana, Illinois, and Missouri. Then look south down toward the Carolina coast and into South Carolina and Georgia. That's the coastal element of this storm. It's sort of a doubleheader. Two waves coming at us, combining to make for some very nasty conditions. Here are the accumulation totals. Now, these are storm totals, not this morning, but by tomorrow morning at this time, this is how much we're probably looking at in the city of Philadelphia and the immediate suburbs, 6 to 9 inches, a significant snowstorm. Shore will get a couple of inches out of this because most of it will be rain for them. North and west of the city, including the immediate suburbs, 6 to 12 inches. Poconos could see upwards of a foot. And in fact, that 1 foot may creep down into the Lehigh Valley. So we're looking at possibility of a foot in some areas, including as close as the Lehigh Valley. It's a nasty storm. It is a big one. As far as changeover is concerned, here's how that's going to break down. It will change over to all snow in Philadelphia sometime this afternoon. We're guessing between 2 and 4 o'clock. But before that, lots of ice. At the shore, it won't happen until about 9 o'clock tonight, so it's a mostly rain event for them. North and west, as early as noon, maybe 2 o'clock, it changes to all snow. In the Poconos, it's all snow all day, all night, and into tomorrow, and that's why they will get upwards of a foot. It is storm number 5, and it's the biggest one so far. We'll have the details. We'll keep going over it. We'll update radar and all the rest. We're in touch with AccuWeather and the National Weather Service. We'll have it all for you over the next few hours this morning. Let's go back inside now to Rick and Monica.
All right, David, thank you, and we'll check in later. In less than an hour at 6 o'clock, the City of Philadelphia will launch its Snow Emergency Route Program. Let's go live on the action cam to the Schuylkill Expressway at Spring Garden for a look at how traffic is moving right now. As you can see, the roads look pretty slick, but the drivers seem to be doing okay. Again, if you take it easy, you shouldn't have too much of a problem. As we mentioned, the city will begin to enforce its Snow Emergency Route Program. You can identify such routes by the red signs with white letters. Now, if you live along such a route and have not moved your car yet, you're asked to do so. Residents who do not move their cars or dumpsters can be fined $35 and asked to pay a $50 towing fee. You can drive on a snow emergency route as long as your car can handle the conditions. Vehicles that get stuck on the routes may also be towed. Now, if you need more information about roadways or snow emergency routes or information about how to recover towed vehicles, you can call this number on your screen at 686-SNOW. That number again is 686-SNOW.
Well, how are the suburbs faring so far this morning as folks await the brunt of the winter storm? For some answers, let's go out on the Action Cam Live to Plymouth Meeting and reporter Cecily Tynan. Good morning, Cecily.
Well, good morning, Monica. About an hour ago when we were driving here, it was just raining, but now everything has turned to sleet, and the roads are very slippery. The salt trucks have been loading up behind me, coming at the rate of about 1 every 5 minutes, so they're certainly working overtime. Let's show you what we're looking at. If you look down here at this railing, this is all ice. Can you hear that? And that's what's accumulating on the roads that are untreated, so you do want to be very careful this morning. When it is snowing, it seems that people take their time because you can actually see it, but a lot of the roads you really can't see this ice, so really be careful this morning. And it's coming down very quickly. It's bouncing off me right now, and we do have salt trucks moving. Here comes another one behind me right now, so everyone is out here and prepared for the winter storm. But again, right now the roads are very icy. It is not falling in the form of snow. It is sleeting out here in Plymouth Meeting. I'm Cecily Tynan reporting live in the Action Cam. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Cecily. Now let's go to Kathy Gandolfo with another live report. Good morning, Kathy.
Well, good morning, Monica. We are out here on Route 70 in Cherry Hill, and right now it is raining. However, it is pretty cold, so you know you're kind of on the borderline there. Of course, the rush hour has not begun yet, so as you can see, there is no traffic at the moment, and the traffic that was passing a short while ago was moving along pretty steadily. We have seen some municipal salt trucks out. They are in the ready. They have their snow plows on the front of the truck. They were actually doing some spreading in anticipation of this stuff changing over to some ice and eventually to snow. I was talking to a police officer a short while ago, and he said he's been out driving around, and there are no real problems in this area at this time. Again, it is raining. If I could tell you, though, just a kind of a cute story. As we were standing here waiting, people seemed to feel sorry for us standing out here in this weather, and a truck pulled over and handed me a morning newspaper. So how's that for curbside delivery? That's the situation for now. Reporting live from Cherry Hill, I'm Kathy Gandolfo.
All right, thank you, Kathy. There are some generous, kind folks out there bright and early. Now let's go live to Lauren Wilson. She's along Route 202 in let's go to Lauren in Wilmington, Delaware this morning. Good morning, Lauren.
Good morning, Monica. Right now, the only thing you'll need to deal with the elements in Delaware is an umbrella because it's raining right now, and the only snow you're going to find is the snow left over from last week. Some snow left over in a parking lot in North Wilmington. As I said, the rain is coming down. We did pass some plows as we came into North Wilmington, so Delaware is bracing for this storm, but we're going to call this the calm before the storm. Right now, just rain. I'm Lauren Wilson, reporting live on the Action Cam in Wilmington.
All right, thank you, Lauren.
All right, time to go on to other news this morning. Monica, 2 people are missing.
country, especially with the brewing winter storm that is occurring now across the Northeast. We see at the water vapor imagery once again that we have low pressure in the midsection of the country swirling about right here, and we have another area of low pressure very weak in the Southern California, but we see this area swirling about, all the moisture building out ahead of it, but what's forming off the Carolinas here is another area of low pressure. We're going to see a transfer of energy from this system to that, and that's going to continue to work its way right on across the continental U.S., so be ready for that. And as that storm system really gets cranked up, what we're going to observe here will be, once again, some very volatile weather across the eastern seaboard, and that's going to cause some major problems. Now, this is how things are going to evolve as we check it out now. We saw yesterday the storm moving across the midsection of the country, warm ocean waters here, and then what happened is now as we're getting that coastal low developing, we're going to see that energy transfer today. It's starting to develop right now. So as it gets here, now it starts tapping that warm ocean waters, and then what results will be, of course, what we're seeing now, rain all the way down towards Florida. But then as you get up towards the Philly area right now and into Pittsburgh, sleet, freezing rain, the worst of the winter weather. That's the slip and slide stuff. That's where you have some real major problems as far as traveling, walking, any kind of transfer whatsoever. It's real problematical here. Now in Baltimore and D.C. right now it is rain, but with that low cranking up offshore as it does, now it'll start forcing down colder winds out of the northeast. So what that'll do is drop the temperature, so the rain will start to mix with sleet and freezing rain around Baltimore and Washington and continue around Philly. So that makes it real treacherous. Now in New York City, you're going to have the cold enough temperatures through the entire time, so as we get that moisture filtering in, we're talking snow, and we're talking heavy snow that'll continue to develop through the course of the day today. A number of inches. We're going to see another foot and a half of snow over the next 24 hours here. So those of you dreaming for a white Christmas, you're going to get exactly what you anticipated. Now up around Boston and Providence, for example, you'll have some light snow to start with later on this afternoon. It'll increase later in the afternoon and the evening as the low cranks up and spins in more moisture, and we're going to have a substantial accumulation here. So I mean, the skiers love it. The kids are going to love it if they get out of school for the Christmas holidays, because they can work with the sleds and the skis and all of that sort of thing. But here is the whole northeastern quadrant in a nutshell. Boston, once again, this afternoon some light snow, and it'll increase late in the day and into tonight. Now New York City, you will see heavy snow developing. That's right, heavy snow in the Big Apple today. It might be one of those days to take a day off and not have to battle the snarls that are going to be the result of this heavy snow that'll be coming into the New York metro area later on today. Philly, again, snow, sleet, freezing rain. You've got the meteorological goulash, and it all amounts to a big superhuman headache. So watch out there in Philly. D.C., you've got the rain now. It's not bad, but again, it's going to be changing over to some freezing rain. Now, the history of this storm has produced some snowfall in Perryton, Texas, home of Cleveland Indians manager Mike Hargrove. They picked up 8 inches of snow yesterday. Maybe Mike's sort of happy to be up in Cleveland, living there right now. Garden City, Kansas, 4, Wichita, 4, Amarillo, 3, Oklahoma City, 3 inches of snow. And as you can see with the history map, that's where we've had a little bit of the snow. Now, we've had little skips of snow here developing across northern Ohio and Indiana and Michigan, as well as southern Michigan, I should say. But the forecast, now here's what it calls for. That skip of snow, 3 to 6 inches, will advance through St. Louis, we anticipate, towards Indianapolis, and then right on up towards the Cleveland area. But then as you get to the northeast, this is where the snow gets extremely heavy between now and 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. So I guess what we're talking about the next 25 and a half hours or so, we're going to look for a foot or more of snow, a foot to 18 inches of snow over the northeast. It's going to really come down in spades. Now, why the heavy snow in New York and New England? Well, you got a cold blocking high pressure here over Hudson Bay, and what it's doing is keeping the cold air in place over the northeast. Now, you've got a low pressure system, a deep one that'll be developing in the Atlantic. So the combination of the high and the low funnels down the cold air, funnels down the moisture. Now another low that'll be moving slowly, taking a more direct northerly path, right on up, southerly path, will be working up the coast, and that will present the problem. So we got your forecast, but before we get to that, let's show you what's going on as far as the unsettled weather is concerned. Here's our national radar, and once again, you got the one surface low right here in the upper atmosphere, then you got the low low developing out here, and you get the wide swath of precipitation here from the form of some snow, rain, freezing rain, and then there are the strong to severe thunderstorms across portions of Georgia. Here's the situation now around the New York metro area. Not all this reaching the ground yet, but you get around Philly, and you've got some sleet and freezing rain. It'll start and stay snow in New York City. Down around Baltimore and D.C., some rain, but again, as we caution you, the wind's becoming more northeasterly later today, funneling in colder air, so the rain will change to ice. We've got the ice through south central and southwestern Pennsylvania, the Pittsburgh area, over towards Youngstown, Akron, Canton, Pennsylvania Turnpike treacherous, Ohio Turnpike, I-77 treacherous, up towards the Cleveland metro area. It's plain old snow. Now, snow you can handle. It's the ice that creates the major headaches. Here you can see it once again, and then back into the Ohio River Valley. We've got a little bit of snow back up through here, and we're talking about some sleet and freezing rain here. Louisville's likely to pick up an inch of snow before all is said and done, and you notice all this moisture is generally moving off towards the east. It's not moving any closer to Chicago. You're going to miss this one. You're going to get to sit back and watch everyone else get hammered east of you in the Chicagoland area. Now to the south we go, and what we find here, some strong thunderstorms from the Tidewater of Virginia off the Cape Hatteras area and off Myrtle Beach, but then another cluster from near Columbia to Aiken, South Carolina through Augusta, Georgia, extending on south towards Statesboro. These are heavy thunderstorms that are steadily moving east. Now the line of strong storms continues from Valdosta over towards Lake City, Florida right now, pushing through Tallahassee towards Monticello and down to Apalachicola, and you can see everything here is sliding off towards the east. Now back into the plains, we've got the snow right back through here. It'll be moving in towards St. Louis, and that will continue to develop. Now let's check your forecast weather maps, and once again, we'll watch the low pressure area, transfer that energy to this one on the coast, and that's by this afternoon is when the snows will start to crank and get locally heavy across New York and Hartford, the whole metro area on and towards Wilkes-Barre, while lighter snows into Boston. The heavier stuff will come later tonight. Now in Philly and D.C. and Baltimore, rain now changing over to sleet and freezing rain, a real icy nightmare here, while south of D.C., Richmond and Norfolk, you'll have rain, an inch or more of rain here. But there's our forecast of 6 to 12 inches of snow or more from the New York metro area and Hartford, Connecticut through near Albany. We can see upwards of 6 inches of snow here. Lighter amounts in Boston. Heavier stuff will come later on today. Temperatures stay cold enough to support that snow with 20s overall. We'll see the 20s and 30s nudging south with those northeasterly winds, so that's why we change it to ice. Strong to severe storms through the Carolinas and South Georgia into northern Florida. Windy with still some clouds and residual showers here, while we'll see a little icy mix towards the Ozarks and snows north of that. An inch or more of rain in the darker shades of green, including Jacksonville, Tallahassee, Augusta, Georgia, to Columbia, South Carolina. There's your mild air, but notice the cold air funneling in behind that system back into Texas. We'll see the swath of snow through St. Louis, Indianapolis to Cleveland of 3 to 6 inches of snow here. And temperatures, again, are going to remain seasonably cold, not bitterly cold, but once again, we're going to have that snow and in the Ohio Valley some ice, and it's going to be very treacherous. And once again, if you don't have to travel, it might be best that you keep it in the garage, avoid the fender benders, and just ride out this portion of the storm. Please stay tuned. Coming up, we'll take a break from the lower 48.